And I think that other realization that you came to that really struck me in what you were just sharing was that as you learned from all these big producers, as you got to know these people that were doing all this business, you started to realize that, man, they're not any smarter than I am. They're just people that got really good at a thing or maybe two things and just did those things over and over and over again at a very, very high level. The one question I got for you, and it's just a very short one, would you agree that success is boring?
It's very boring. Yeah. So I think our industry does a very disservice to the agent population. We sell a dream that's not true. We say it's easy, it's flexible, come make as much money as you want. And the realities of all my friends that I grew up with doing this are the dead opposite. They're extremely systematic, they're extremely strict, and they focus on, dollar productive activity over and over and over again. You were touching on something that is a concept I think about a lot, which is, but did you die?
Yeah.
Right. Like 99.9% of the things that will keep us up at night. If you fast forward the movie 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you barely remember the event that gave you anxiety and nausea and kept you up. With the exception of tragedy and loss of loved ones and that kind of stuff. I don't want to diminish real stuff like that. But professional speaking, like that one transaction, the person who threatened you, the deal that went sideways, losing tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars, depending on where you're at on your financial journey, is not going to kill you. Right. And I feel very blessed that I've had those personal tribulations early on, like losing everything financially when you're 23 is not that big of a deal because you can literally sleep on a friend's couch. Mm-hmm. I'm grateful that I did not experience that with little ones that I need to feed, right? Because I know that is a different level of stress. And so I want to distinguish that fact that I didn't have to do that. But at the end of the day, it's, being a parent and like kids that don't actually care about the stuff I can give them. They just want me. Right. So even when I've had a bad day and I'm putting them in bed and they say, I love you, Daddy. It's like, there's not much that can really stress me out business wise. It's like, look, they're breathing. I got a roof over their head and they got a full belly and my attention. Like, what's the worst that can happen? Like, did you die? No, I'm here for them. And this is why I'm doing it. And I think when you recalibrate to that, it's easier to put things into context, right? I don't want to take it away from the real pain that comes with the journey. But if you can go back to why you're doing it and anchor it to that, I think it's easier to overcome some stuff and be able to just put your phone down and go, you know what, I'll deal with that fire tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Pretty good example of that was last October. If you guys remember when the trial was lost, I think it was on actual Halloween, and Glenn called me and I was trick-or-treating and he's like, did you read the news? I said, I did, but we'll talk about this tomorrow because I'm trick-or-treating with my little people, right? Like nothing's going to change right now. And like, it's still a year out and we're still not done with it. So yeah, it's making sure that you're, radically prioritizing what's actually important.
Absolutely. And you've also got to understand that the things that aren't super important right now, they can either wait or just not get dealt with. You don't have to deal with every single thing in your life. There are some things it's okay to ignore. And so it's one of the things, just side note, and this is just a personal anecdote, but I don't know if you remember back when we were traveling, we were doing all this REO travel, speaking of not sexy, and I think everybody back then thought it was a sexy thing. We're out there, flying all over the place, meeting all these banks and asset managers and all this. And man, I got to tell you, that was a grind. I mean, you remember. And I remember one night we were staying at your place. I think it was in Alexandria. I think you had just bought the place there. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you had this cat and this freaking thing. So, and speaking of sleeping on couches, you didn't even have a couch. I was sleeping on your floor that night. And there was this freaking cat, and it wasn't like a normal cat. This thing was like some psychopathic wild cat, and it terrorized me all night long. It freaked me out. Do you remember that thing? Do you guys still have that thing?
No, when my daughter was born, it got territorial, so the cat had to go.
I never thought I could be afraid of a little animal like that. And dude, I'm telling you,
It wasn't little. That was the problem.
what was that thing even? I mean,
it was an exotic breed that was crossed with a wildcat. So it was like a second, third generation. It looked like a bobcat. It was pretty cool.
It scared the crap out of me all night long. I didn't get a week's sleep that night, but I appreciated the opportunity to sleep on your floor. It was so funny. Club Wealth is the only coaching company on the planet that will literally guarantee that you will double your income or make at least an extra $100,000 your first year coaching with us, or we will give you 100% of your investment back. Click the link below, sign up for the appropriate tier level, and let's get you a strategy session today. And I promise you, I 100% guarantee you, promise you that you will walk away with a heart full of gratitude for the time that we took for you, because you got so much value out of that call. Schedule your strategy session today. I promise you'll be glad you did.